Before I started playing Mindseye on my PlayStation 5 Pro, I wasn't sure what to expect. The trailer hinted at the huge open world, user-generated content, and a cinematic spy thriller. Now, but what I found instead was something that feels half-made and confused. Like a tech demo wearing a game skin. You play as Jacob Diaz, a former soldier whose experimental brain implant, the Mindseye, scrambles his memories. Your mission is to break into Silva, the company that built the implant, and uncover what really happened all those years ago. On paper, that premise sounds fresh. The game even itself ties to a promise, and I quote, everywhere, a platform where players can build and share their own challenges. That idea of mixing and focusing single-player story with a bigger, community-driven ecosystem has plenty of a potential, but Mindseye never grows into it. Now, right from the start, you notice the game's ambition in its visuals. The neon-soaked city of Red Rock, with its drones, robots, and a massive sphere landmark, looks like a next-gen playground when the cutscenes hit. Characters' models and lighting setups often shine, and there are moments when you think, okay, they had the budget to do something great here. Unfortunately, once you leave the cinematic moments, everything kind of just falls apart. The image quality is blurry, as the game is running at the lower resolution than it should, textures detail fade in and out, and the promise of an impressive cityscape loses its luster when you're staring at the smudged walls between missions. Gameplay is where the cracks really show. Combat is built around a cover system that feels stuck in the past. You snap into the cover, stay glued to it, and pop shots at enemies who frankly just don't know how to react. There's just no dodge move, no melee options, and the AI rarely flanks or uses tactics. It's a basic repetitive loop of spot enemy, shoot, reload, repeat. With each fight looking and feeling almost identical, later enemies may soak up more bullets, but they don't bring any new behaviors or strategies. It plays like a budget title from the PlayStation 3 era, not even a 2025's release. Side activities, which the game hints might be its future focus, only deepen the disappointment. Scattered around the city are glowing portals for, and I quote, play missions, short races, shootouts, and minigames you can replay whenever you like. They're supposed to give the world some life and lead into the user-generated content platform. Instead, well, they offer nothing. No rewards, no XP, no new weapons, no vehicles. There's just zero reason to seek them out, especially because you can launch them right from the main menu. And once I completed the mission, only to be booted straight back into the start of the campaign, that glitch perfectly sums up the state of the project. Now granted, of course, we have received already plenty of updates and patches, but there are still quite a few problems that this game faces. Driving is one of the rare high points. Vehicles handled with the arcade-like sort of a drift and feel surprisingly responsive. You get to enjoy some cool burst tire physics and cinematic slides, even if the cars feel, well, floaty and you can even flip them too easily. The problem is that Mindseye makes you drive, well, too much. Despite not being true open world, Red Rock is indeed huge. And missions place you at the end or at the other. And without the fast travel, you'll spend 5, maybe even 10 minutes just cruising empty streets and start the next shootout. There's just no in-game radio as well, no dynamic events, no shops or side characters to break that kind of monotony. The silence stretches so long that the only thing keeping you company is the dialogue in the haptic feedback on your DualSense controller. And that is at least actually works. Now that the controller feedback is one of the few technical achievements in the game, loading times are quick thanks to the PlayStation 5 SSD, and the frame rate, while capped at 30 FPS, stay relatively stable. In a weird way, it feels more polished technically than you'd expect from the first outing by a new studio. But the blur and performance hits remind you immediately that stability alone doesn't make the good game. What truly kills a sense of immersion is the world itself. There's just no shops to visit, no NPCs to interact with, and no collectibles to find. Most buildings exist only as a backdrop, never used in missions or exploration. Stay off the beaten path during the mission and you'll trigger a mission fail. Free roam only unlocks very late in the story, and even then you play as a random side character in the same empty city. If the promise was a living, breathing world filled with player creations and side content, well, this isn't it. Red Rock feels hollow and half-built. If you listen closely, you might catch the writers stumbling over the dialogue that feels unintentionally hilarious. Lines come off like they were generated by an AI trying to mimic serious spy drama. Voice acting ranges from a flat to comically bad, especially from the villains, who are so over the top that they make serious moments feel like a bad B movie. For some players that's so bad, it's a good vibe, might be entertaining. You might find yourself laughing at lines that were meant to be dramatic. The story itself isn't entirely terrible, there are glimpses of decent conspiracy thriller under all that junk. Some characters have depth and the main plot, well, corporate secrets, military experiments, and your hero's fragmented past. Could have been compelling if it weren't constantly undercut by missing pieces. Scenes feel cut or rushed, particularly when it comes to the antagonists. It's as if an entire chapter were left off on the cutting room floor, leaving only a skeleton of the intended narrative. At its best, Mindseye is a short distraction, just a handful of hours you plow through the main story. That's one real plus. Of course, if you're morbidly curious about what went wrong here, or just want a quick weekend curiosity play, it won't take too much of your time. But for the players expecting a sprawling GTA-style sandbox, it feels like a bait and switch. The marketing promised open-world Grand Theft adventures. Instead, you'll get a linear string of corridors disguised by a giant empty map. In the end, Mindseye feels more like a shell of an idea than a finished game. It's a tech demo, masquerading as a retail title, hinting at the future user-generated content that might make sense down the line. Right now though, it's broken, shallow, and oddly, frustrating. You get an odd flash of great visuals or that satisfying trigger click on your PlayStation 5 controller, but those fleeting moments just can't save a world with nothing to offer. It has ambition in the art design and a clever concept with the everywhere platform. But the core gameplay loop, the empty city, the broken side activities drags it down completely. This isn't the GTA rival or what we've been waiting for. It's a reminder that hype means nothing without a solid game beneath it. If you still want to see it for yourself, go ahead. But also, I want to mention one other thing. I'm actually giving away a free code for Mindseye to the first person who comments down below in this video. You've got 1 week from this upload, so afterwards I will not be able to provide a code. Please mention in the comments as well which platform you want it on: Steam, PlayStation 5 EU, PlayStation 5 NA, or Xbox. Good luck, and thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys all later.